All right, so I don't know where in the video that this will go. Maybe it's the intro, who knows? But we're here with Caleb and his 8-rotor RX7. We figured it'd be cool to put a little burnout in the video. However, Caleb's never done a burnout before, which is amazing to me because I've like been drifting with him and stuff like that. Like he does car shit all the time. Never done a brake stand.
Nope, not once.
All right, so it goes like this. Here's your left foot, here's your right foot. Clutch pedal, you go whoa, 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 whoa,
okay.
Whoa, whoa. And then, so it's all about dumping the clutch at high enough revs to spin the tires and then catching the brake early enough
that you don't like just pull forward.
Yeet yourself out of here.
Right.
And then it's all about modulating brake and pedal to get it to the point where you're spinning your rear tires, but you're not moving forward and you're not on the brake so hard that you're killing the rear tires.
Gotcha.
Or killing your wheel speed. I think you figured it out. Oh shit. I think you got it, man. I don't think you had any trouble at all.
I think we can get more wheel speed out of that.
All right, go for it. You tried to start in second, didn't you? All right, so I'm here with Caleb, a good friend of ours. Tell us about what this is.
This is a, pretty much completely stock 87 Mazda RX7 with an LS1. The car I picked up, found it on Craigslist. This guy was like selling it, didn't have a price on it. I offered him $500 to come pick it up. It had like a blown engine at the time. Go down there, and then I told the guy that I couldn't buy it unless I would take it for $300. So he goes inside, talks to his wife, and I left that like the next morning with it for $300. Found an engine for it, engine and transmission for like $700. Drove it around for 2 years-ish, like 15,000 miles with just a stock rotary, and then decided I was gonna LS swap my other one, and then this one blew its engine the weekend I pulled the engine on the other RX7 I had. This was a nicer car, so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna LS swap this one. And then 2 years later, it's finally done. The motor, again, Craigslist, man, I buy everything off of Craigslist. Just some guy in Auburn, he was gonna swap something and never got around to it. So he actually bought it off of eBay. I was able to see the listing and everything. It had 98,000 miles on it. The transmission I bought off of some guy way down the like very south part of Washington. Like I think he lived like a mile from the border. Bought the transmission. So I bought the engine for $1,800 and bought the transmission for $1,900. Threw him in a $300 car.
Nice, dude. It's pretty budget for just those parts.
Yeah.
There she is.
Yeah, sorry, everything is super dirty right now. It's been parked under a tree. Completely stock. LS1 has never been opened up. I've got some eBay headers on it. This was like something for a cop car or something like that. This is Jags That Run, makes this mount kit for the whole radiator and everything. Decided I wanted to LS swap a RX7, and there's this guy, Joel. He runs the company Ronin Speedworks, him and like a couple buddies, and they do all swapped RX7s. And so he's got a build thread on, I think it's no rotors. And I read that religiously over and over.
Some America shit right there.
So I knew a lot of places to buy parts, a lot of good parts.
Just talking through the gunfire. Our European viewers and Australian viewers will be very surprised by that. So Quentin's not here. Obviously, you probably put that together by now. So Caleb's gonna drive his own car. That's, I don't know if it's a first, but it's not common in these back road reviews. So Caleb's gonna drive his car a little bit. Don't kill me, I'm a bad passenger. Yeah, that's fine, I can handle that. So Caleb's gonna drive. We're gonna talk a little bit about the car itself and the experience of driving it. Obviously, it's pretty loud in here, so it's hard to get good dialogue. Watch out for these bumps up here. It gets pretty nasty. Although this thing does have stock suspension on it.
Yep.
So that is a thing to talk about.
It costs money to change all that stuff, and I like the look of a sleeper, so screw it.
Fair enough. we also picked a great day to do this. A Saturday where there's cyclists out and tons of traffic. This was a great decision. Yeah, maybe find a driveway, pull over, get some space.
Yeah.
I mean, not that we have to haul ass in this thing. This thing kind of scares me at high speed because it is so stock.
Stock brakes, stock rotors. I think these are like just AutoZone special stuff. So
Yeah, and like the tires aren't very wide.
no, they're like 8 years old. That he did, because that's the only car that I've ever known had like stock suspension, stock brakes, all that, but he had 400 horsepower. And this thing only makes like, I don't know, 350 at most.
So that's a really good question. That's super interesting. For those that don't know, you might be able to go back and find it, but our buddy Riley, Backyard Built on YouTube, he had a stock X8 Cressida that he put a 2J in, a GTE 2J, and it made 410 wheel horsepower. That thing was torquey, but this is V8 torquey, so the torque, the power delivery is totally different. But that thing was fucking rowdy because it had an open diff, so it would just spin one. You'd get on the power, where this thing would hook and just keep pulling. That thing, it would hit boost, and then one of your tires would start spinning, and it would just squirrel you all over the road. Not in an uncontrollable way, but not in like a fun way. I didn't personally drive it when that JZ was in Cressida, but I did drive it after he swapped it into a Toyota Mark II. It's just like turbo inline 6 versus the natural aspirated V8. It's just totally different. This is super linear and it just pulls you through. With the JZ, you're not going that fast, and then all of a sudden you know full well that you're going really fast.
One thing that everybody loves to talk about is how high you can rev rotary engines, and like people love to say you can rev them super high. The red line on this car stock is $7 grand. Okay, I think the red line for my LS in it is like 65 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's really close to the same, so I'm giving up what, 500 friggin' RPMs.
Yeah.
So the Camaros and the RX7s come with 410 rear gears.
Oh.
So it's got stock gearing that like a Camaro would have.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't care what everybody says on the internet, like, you know, you're not fast unless you're like 450 plus. Like, this thing's right around 300 probably, and it's fucking fast. I'm excited to see how this thing goes on the 20th, which is something the internet doesn't know about yet.
Ooh.
Am I in neutral right now?
I think you are.
Yeah, this thing.
That is like the tightest shifter I have ever felt. Yeah.
Every LS car I've ever driven, it's just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Driven this car once before on this road actually.
Yeah.
But the power steering wasn't quite working back then, and there was no camera around. So now there's a camera around. What blows me away about this car, it shouldn't, but it does, because I don't own a car with a V8 in it. There's torque everywhere. It doesn't matter what gear you're in. So much more torque than I'm used to.
The first day that I had this like actually running like well enough that I could drive it to work, I went and I like paced with my coworker, and he's got like a 2014 Honda Sonata, but Okay, so we slowed down to like 50 miles an hour, so we didn't slow down much. But I left it in 6th gear and still beat it. And like
6 in this thing, 6th gear is very long.
Yeah, 6th gear is a 0.5 to 1 ratio.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is very long.
Yeah, the T56s are double overdrive transmissions. It's like 5th gear is 0.8 and then 6th gear is 0.5.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
That's how this engine can get freaking 25 miles to the gallon. I put a way bigger engine in it with more torque, more horsepower, and I get almost like 1.5 times the gas mileage.
You can thank Wankel for that, dude. Rotaries are so inefficient, it's crazy. Pretty quick.
Yeah, it's great. I'm terrible at holding the camera. So like every time like you got on it, the camera like literally goes back.
That's fine, that's fine. That just makes it look like I can drive faster. What keeps surprising me about the chassis, not the motor, is the turning. Like the ratio in this rack has to be incredibly tight because like just barely off center, it just wants to turn. Like I imagine this thing's very easy to initiate drift.
Yeah, this car like in general takes a second to get used to. Like the clutch is like, it's brand new.
Everything's very sensitive to your inputs, yeah.
Don't worry, that was just the exhaust.
You don't even need that.
Since I built the exhaust myself, like the hangers like hang way down because I did a terrible job. And so that's the first thing to scrape every single time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pull through your sentence there. I just had to feel second gear to the fullest extent. It's so nice to be able to hit those bumps at whatever speed you want.
Yep.
Brakes like to go to the floor before they do anything.
Yeah, they're a little squishy. I need to get like some Hawk pads or something like that.
Yeah,
those on.
HPS, Hawk HPS are good as long as you keep heat in them. On a street, they're not quite as good as maybe EBC yellow stuff.
Okay.
But pads are a hugely overlooked upgrade that do a lot. Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
We're going 0, it's fine.
Sorry, rip clutch right there.
That's fine.
Man, the suspension and tires actually hang on much better than you'd expect them to. This car is very confidence inspiring once you get used to it.
It's crazy. My dad has never, like, he hasn't driven a swapped car since like the 70s. And swapped cars back then were throwing a 350 and whatever. He hopped in this and he was amazed by like how nice it drives. And I think that comes down a lot to, I didn't mess with anything. I just left it stock. If I keep it, like, I'd put some coilovers and like some wheels on it and like upgrade the brakes. Oh, and eventually probably put a different rear end because that's going to be the first thing to go out in this.
Yeah, I've been, the way you drove it off camera earlier, like that first to second, some of the burnout stuff, I was like, this guy's got a lot of confidence in this rear end. So it's interesting to hear you say that.
I've got 2 spares, so
well, okay.
that's where my confidence comes from.
I now 100% believe that that will be the first thing to go.
Yeah. I think it costs a little bit more than Quentin's 1J swap did.
Yeah.
But it just depends what you want. Do you want a turbo 6-cylinder or do you want a torquey V8? So it's nice to be able to like talk at a normal level and
Yeah, when we got to Quentin's house earlier, my head was fucking ringing.
Oh yeah. And that's what I'm talking about when I say like this exhaust is extremely droney. Damn. I like it. When I do another another video with you guys. Hopefully by then I'll actually have a YouTube.
All right, sweet man. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye out for this guy's YouTube. We'll let you be aware of it once it starts.
Yeah.
But thanks for letting me drive your car, man.
Of
This
course.
is amazing, and hopefully this video turns out right.
You want to buy it?
Yeah, I'll trade you some of Quentin's cars for it.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Shout out to the patrons. You'll see their names coming up in just a second. And shout out to people like Caleb who let us drive their sick cars.
Also, shout out Jeff again, his music.
Oh yeah,
Love
Jeff
that.
Jarman. A lot of people ask about our outro song and stuff. I'll put a link in the description on this one. Jeff Jarman, or I think it's LG30F or something like that on SoundCloud.
I don't know.
He makes dope shit. I think he either just dropped an EP or he's about to drop it, but yeah, correct. Shout out to Jeff.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
love that dude.
thanks for watching, guys.
I just no scope, yo bitch, check the bandy can. 10 racks in my hands, call me Edward Van Hands. I was in a band, man, we were called the Band Band. Meet me at the Denny's, cause I'm cooking up a band slam. Yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, I have way more money than you. Ran out of pockets, keep money in my shoe. 10 rollies on my wrist, dream come true. Granting all my wish, that's what the money do. Rolling up a swish, puff till I turn blue. Double styrofoam dish, brain turned to goo. I don't really care, cause the doctor make it new. I'm really rich, and that's what the money do. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Ooh, yay. Woo, yeah. Blah, 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 pussy, money, money, weed. Yada, 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 got a water paper all green. Henny, 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 roly-polies for my team. Zanny, Molly, Percocet, and promethazine. Got a lot of Lamborghinis in my Lambo account. How many do you got? Bitch, you know I can't count. I just dropped a rack on a couple new rack mounts, so I could put some racks on my racks. Watch me ball out. Money nose kid with the Sudafed flow. Talk a lot of shit, but it's all love though. Luka X kicked the beat, yeah, he set that shit to Wumbo. First grade SpongeBob, now we going Dumbo. Blah, 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 pussy, money, money.